you're
Yeah,
tortured, you're shot, you're left for dead, you're out in the jungle. This is in northeast India. So
yeah,
in that moment,
yeah,
Cosmo, when you probably thought it was over, what was
yeah.
one thought that kept you from giving up?
Well, actually, I didn't really know anything going on till the way later. So I was in a very misfortune place and time. We can't still talk so much detail, but I got nursed back by a lady, and all I remember from now on to that time was that I just got a second chance from the Lord.
This is Eagle Freedom Presents.
At 17 years old, my guest today was tortured, shot, and left for dead. Welcome back to Eagle Freedom Presents, everybody. I'm Destin Rogers. Today, I'm sitting down with Cosmo Zimik. He's a sixth-degree black belt and founder of Empty Hand Combat in Idaho. But his journey didn't begin at a dojo. It started in a war zone. Would you please welcome to the show, Cosmo Zimik. Hello, Cosmo.
Hey, good morning.
Well, I tell you what, it's definitely nice to get you sitting down. It's not very often I get to see you sitting down and you're not moving around in your dojo. So
Yeah.
thanks for taking time for this interview.
Yes, of course.
Cosmo, let's just jump right into it because I think a lot of people hear that and they just got to know what the heck was going on at that time. So you
Yeah,
were 17 years old, you're
yeah,
tortured, you're shot, you're left for dead, you're
yeah,
bleeding out in the jungle. And by the way, everybody, this is in northeast India. So
yeah,
in that moment,
yeah,
Cosmo, when you probably thought it was over, what was
yeah.
one thought that kept you from giving up?
Well, actually, I didn't really know anything going on till the way later. So I was in a very misfortune place and time. We can't still talk so much detail because my family lives there. But I got nursed back by a lady, and all I remember from now on to that time was that I just got a second chance from the Lord, because I was not a very big on Christian or God or things like that. So everybody get a second chance, or maybe sometimes some of us are lucky enough to get third, fourth, 500 chance, right? But yeah, I think that I got a second chance in life to be where I am today with a purpose, and I could be dead so many times, not just the wartime. I even got the COVID and I almost died. I didn't go to the hospital because people keep dying in the hospital, I
Mhm.
got oxygen like 82 or something, the finger oxygen, of course. So it's not like, you're measuring the thing, but I really believe that we're here, all of us. Some of you may not be shot, nor tortured, or beat to death, or car accident, near death experiences. But even though you may not have any accident in life, I really believe that we're here on this earth with a purpose, all of us. And I believe that for me, that was a wake up moment, second chance in life to be where I am today.
Yeah, yeah. So you were actually when you were being nursed back to health, you were nursed by a total complete
Stranger.
stranger, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
So tell us a little bit about that nursing part, bringing you back to health, and then, did that kindness that this lady showed you, did that change your definition of what a warrior actually is?
Yeah, of course. So I grew up in a Christian home, and my dad was a pastor, but we're really poor. So as young as 5, I wouldn't say I was questioning God, but I used to think, why did God not give us rice and chicken every day? Because we were not able to afford chicken. Sometimes a full bowl of rice, right? Very less rice and things in the wartime. And so I was questioning God even then, and so I pretend I was in the Sunday school and everything, but I grew up very what do you call unbelievers, and I wanted to be kung fu master and I want to be rich. I want to be smart, get jobs. I even went to college, all these things. But, during those moments, I started really seeking God in the sense, why am I alive? Is there really God? Right? So God didn't come and say like, hey, Cosmo, I kept you alive. You better serve me now. But it's very hard to explain. But deep in my heart, I knew that there's a higher power out there. I knew for some reason that there's God and there has to be God. And I'm alive for a reason because I'm not supposed to be alive, you know?
You said you were raised in a Christian home. So for those that aren't familiar, where were you raised so they can have a perspective of where it is you were growing up?
Yeah. I was raised in the India-Burma border. My dad traveled around. So he was a pastor, but he also traveled sometime. He was kind of like a revivalist, very extreme Christian believers. He was a Baptist, but he did a lot of miracle types, a lot of crazy cool stuff. You know, it was beyond human comprehension, some of the things God used him to do. But I was wondering if he does all this powerful miracle stuff, how come he can't just make have chickens, have abundance of foods and things. And so I was just I was a kid with a lots of questions, but we're really poor. And that's what made me who I am today, not because of, really cool teaching or upbringing. And my life shaped me who I am today because we had no food, right? We had no proper education. So now I started schools in the jungle. We have 3 schools in India for the poor. We don't take them school fees, admission fees. We buy them uniform, books and stuff sometime, right? And so we have a lot of orphans in our schools and underprivileged, underserved. So where I'm from, we still, some area have no electricity. Electricity barely just came, a few years ago. No running water. So we're still cooking with the fire. Like, you know how you go camping in America, campgrounds, and you cook on the fire. That's our daily life. And it's actually lots of fun. It's a lot of work though. It's a hard work, but people back home really loves it. They still have most of the village. Our village is very developed now. We have electricity, still no running water, but people start, some of them cooking with the gas from the city. They go to the city, buy gas. But 90% of the village still cook with the firewood, and make a fire every day. And it's pretty crazy. Those life define me who I am, and that's why our dojo is so successful in spite of all the wrong way of marketing. We don't God and do a lot of promotion, Facebook, Google. We did a little ad for summer camp, but we don't do any Facebook ad or Google. We don't do any ads, period. We don't have marketing strategy. But my story has formed me to be where I am today, and it really inspired people that we know. Lots of people don't know us, but the few that knows us are very inspired by what I am and who we are as Empty Hand Combat, and we're able to impact the kids today. Kids today in America are like, we're single parents and this and that. And I said, yeah, empathy. I feel that. I feel you. But I tell them my story. It's a whole different level. So they're like, wow, I'm able to overcome my obstacle, anxiety, depression, or things like that. We have kids that we try to pick up at Caldwell, and sometimes they wouldn't even open the door for us. So I kind of yell at them with lots of love. And I said, hey, you want to be in the program? You need to walk next time. I ain't going to come pick you up, because we do pick up kids all the way to, even Eagle sometime or Boise, and help them, encourage them, and give them job and direction. But that's not for a whole year program. Like we'll do that like a month, couple months to push them where they need to go. And so these kids, actually, I told my stories, and he walked from Caldwell one day and all the way to Nampa to just be here at Empty Hand Combat, So I said, well, we're ready to really help you now. So we started helping him even more.
Yeah. So when you talk about going back to when you were being raised in the village,
Yeah.
and having to cook over open fire, not some of the conveniences that you obviously have here in the States, but they're eventually getting them over there. But what
Yeah.
did growing up like that, what did that instill in you? What did that teach you at a young age about life?
Yeah. So we grew up, we didn't know that there's such all this privilege in America, right? Drive through, and we used to like jump on a truck, right? From behind, we'll run after the truck and we'll try to climb the truck, like a small semi truck, not as big, a little bigger than American truck, right? Like the GMC truck, a little bigger than that, but we used to climb over there, and that was the fun thing as a kids. We never get to sit even in the back seat of the truck. And then to sit on the Jeep was only for rich people. We never get to sit even in the back seat of the Jeep, let alone on the front. And so growing up, we were just thankful. We're wondering if we're gonna get the food in the next week, next month, next season, sometime tomorrow even, right? So it's a whole different level. We were not poverty, but we're survival poverty, and we also were tormented by militants, even military. We had Burmese military towards the Burma side. We're Nagaland. The Naga people were half in Burma, half in India. Not exactly half, but kind of divided 40, 60, and so we got tormented by the military itself. Then there's the militant part, and there's the other part. So we grew up with a lot of fear, like our parents, my mom, sister, and even brothers, a lot of our friends, we grew up lots of fears and worry, food worry and then killing worry. So it was a nightmare, right? It's like we're living in tribulation, like the future of America, right? We're coming from where I'm from, back from the future, like the movie, right? So I have lived that tribulation life. So that really helped me encourage the kids in America how we can really live and be prepared. So that fear kind of really distort, break down a lot of the kids in the jungle. But it kind of played a reverse role in my life. It kind of helped me, shape me the way I am now. So thank God I found Sarah, my wife. But before I found her, I was crazy. I was always one foot, one foot in the red, one foot in the green. I'm always playing with life, never afraid to die. I play with the Hindu militants in India, RSS, right? They were at one point trying to kill me. And in Burma, same thing, a lot of stuff. So I'm always at the edge, I'm never afraid to die. But sometimes not afraid to die is a good thing, but with a purpose. At that time, I was so young, I thought it was a purpose, but I was just living on fire, just young and very rebellious a little bit, but also just living the life, and I thought I was doing it for God, for Jesus, but I was really being a kid just on the fire, and but I think it really helped me. Now I'm more mature, and I tell these kids, like, hey, how do you overcome fear? Because I overcome those torment, torture, poverty, right? I have all this anxiety, right? I never had depression per se, but I had lots of anxiety and worry, weary. The fear was something I always fight and overcome, right? But now I'm not saying I'm afraid, but I'm more concerned about life now. I want to live longer because I want to be there for my wife. If my wife's gone someday, hopefully I will not come back to all ways, but I have no fear in life. I just want to serve the Lord, serve the community. I am very purposeful life. So that's why in the beginning I was talking a little bit about purpose. Why are we here? God give us a life for a reason. I really believe I'm alive for a season, this season of anxiety, depression, and post-COVID era. I always think, why am I here in America? I've been here 24 years, 25 years. I believe I'm brought here for this season. A lot of the teenagers have depression, anxiety, and I'm able to overcome that. Now I'm using that to help the kids in Idaho.
Yeah, so you were able to get out of that environment,
Yeah.
that toxic environment that you were in, because as you mentioned, you were street fighting, you were doing, like you said, had one foot over here, one foot over there. You were just doing everything. Weren't really afraid to die at all because you'd been through so much. And then you decide to make this move to Idaho. And you, if I remember correctly, you cashed out your entire retirement savings to open this dojo. And so
Yes.
what was it? What did you see in the youth of Idaho
Yeah.
that reminded you of that street fighter you used to be in India?
The kids in Idaho, everyone think Idaho is conservative, lots of good kids and stuff, but they said that Idaho, especially in Empire, is one of the highest group gang, at-risk youth actually in the US among the city. So the city I live in is such a nice city, but it's also one of the most at-risk kind of kids and things. So I was a chaplain at a prison. I was a correction officer, become a chaplain. So the inmates were always sharing about how their kids, no one's there out there to help. Americans have a lot of money for kids, babies, preteens, but there's not a lot of help for teenagers, right? So I was thinking like, hey, I know this kung fu and kickboxing. I can use this to help the kids. I did that in India. I can do it here. So I talked to my wife and she was actually really excited. She's like, is that what you feel like God's telling you? I said, yeah. So at that time we have no money, but I just told you we have 3 schools in India. We had 1 school at that time, and every saving we have, we send it to India. We have no money. So I took all my 401k, that's the retirement money. It's a penalty. I took 50% penalty and I started the dojo with 45,000. It's like very small amount, but still that was all my money saving at that time, 16 years ago. So we started the dojo because there was such a huge need and we were so excited. The first year, Thanksgiving, we had like 100 some kids come for Thanksgiving and everybody like gave their life to the Lord. It was the coolest witness. And then that's when we knew that we're supposed to do this 100%.
I kind of want to backtrack just a little bit real quick because you're really talking about the belief and your belief about God and saving these youth and bringing them. But was it this when you were 17 years old when you were going through this, or was it another time where you really felt that the calling that you really needed to do something different in your life? What was
Yes,
the one
yes.
moment?
Yes. So I was in college. So I finished the college and I talk about second chance. I got so many chance, thank God. I think God really loves all of us, just not me. So I was in college and I was half paralyzed, like again, side effect of working out hard from the injuries. So I was hospitalized and I was coughing blood and I tested for tuberculosis and I didn't have it. So the doctors say you have a lots of nerve damage and you might not live long. So I will like cough out a lot of blood, not like a little, but sometimes, we're talking about almost like puking. So the Korean missionary at that time, they were really worried. They prayed for me and I was in the hospital laying. I'm like, wow, what a joke. I mean, I have to be the dumbest guy in the world. God gave me second chance and now I'm in the deathbed again. And so I actually talk about the moment I told God in the hospital, thank you for asking that question actually. So it was in 1993 October, 94 October. So I told God that, Lord, if you let me live, if I can breathe and I can walk, I'm gonna serve you, whatever you take me. I'm gonna just serve you the rest of my life. So I was not afraid to die or anything, but I just thought like I got second chance and here I'm an idiot. I'm like selfish working out again for myself. I did overwork out and I was fighting again, underground fights, some fights, MMA types, some, among other things that, bodyguard and so many stupid stuff. And I got lots of injury too, but I was not even injury plus workout. Mostly was I was overworking out. So I almost died and I said, I'm going to serve God. And I just walked out of the hospital. I was still like not feeling good. And then I met the Athletes in Action, a Christian sports ministry, and they recruited me. That's how I started. And I used that martial arts. We used from 1 Corinthians 9:22. I have become all things to all men. So I don't want to say this so loud, but this dojo is everything to me. But to be honest, it literally means nothing to me. I can give it to someone or close tomorrow. If we're not sharing the gospel, it's not for Jesus. This dojo means nothing. So we started the dojo to help the kids, but to really encourage them, introduce them to Jesus. We're not religious. We're not, necessarily spiritual. We're not churchy. We don't try to take these kids to church, but we try to connect them with Jesus and they find church themselves. So there's not a lot of string attached. We have to give the boxing gloves for free, not because they clean the toilet. We teach them for free, not because they're trading to clean the dojo. So we told them they still clean the toilets though. They still clean the dojo. But we tell them you have to do it because you're thankful. You're thankful to Master Cosmo or you're thankful to God. We tell them You're not cleaning because you're learning for free. You're not underdog. You're not some chump chance. You're better even than that millionaire kids. You know why? Because you show up. You show up to train. So you're better than that rich kids. You're better than that governors, mayors, chief of police, whatever, right? You're better than that millionaire's kids because you freaking show up to train and you're here to help clean the dojo. So you're not cleaning because your parents couldn't afford it, right? But you should still clean because we want to teach you to be appreciative. You got it, son? And they're like, yes, sir.
I've had the opportunity to visit your dojo, and what I've witnessed, not only the respect that you give the kids that come through there, but I've also had the opportunity to witness the respect that they give to you in return. So when they're coming to the dojo for the first time,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of these kids, they have a lot of anger, maybe a lot of anger
Yep.
issues. They're
Yep.
depressed, as you mentioned earlier. So
Mhm.
how do you address those issues through your dojo, maybe to break them out of that cycle that they're in, because they're in this cycle. I'm happy, I'm depressed, I'm happy, I'm depressed. And sometimes some go to the very extremes, and maybe we'll
Yes.
touch on some of those stories here in a few. But how do you take them from that mentality that they have to a different mentality?
So I always give them the vision when they're intro to the dojo. I give them a vision where they're gonna go. So I don't address their current issue, but I tell them like, hey, I want to see you fight in 12 months, right? I see you finish your GED. What do you want to do in life? Policeman. I'm gonna introduce you to a policeman. I'm gonna introduce you to an engineer, architect. So we have these people mentor them actually with career, nursing, doctor, engineer. We have them mentor them once a week. So I set the goals. I focus on the positive side, not so much their anger. And then what I do was I tell my story and I said, you punch the bag. I put a timer, you punch the bag for 30 minutes. If you're tired in between 5 minutes, do 10 push-ups. Here's the timer. So I'll be watching from a distance and they punch and take out their aggression and anger. And then I talk to them a little bit about how they can do that all the time. When you're angry, come and punch the bag, or I'll buy a bag for you in your garage. Just go punch the bag. So talk about depression, anxiety. One of the very successful thing is believing in them, the goals. So people always tell me, write the 12-step program, how you help anxiety, depression, how so many kids are healed through your dojo. And I said, I actually don't know how we do that. So I've been actually studying the last 1 year because people have been telling me this for 4 or 5 years now, and so the key is really believing in them that they're going to be healed. I see the positive. I see the end result, how they can walk without anxiety, depression. I just keep seeing in my head the picture and I focus on that. But on day-to-day life, I tell them when you're depression, anxiety, don't just sit on the couch and claim a Bible verse. Philippians and this, I can do all things through Christ. Claim that too. Amen. But I said, claim the Bible verse, but you need to get out of the couch and you need to go walk outside circle and just sing song, right? Sing hymns and praise and, claim the Bible verse, right? Talk about, and I tell them also to look for other people like Master Cosmo that believe in you and say, Master Cosmo, believe in me. I have someone that loves me and care for me. Destin, believe in me, right? Pastor such and such, believe in me. Cosmo's wife, Sarah's, believe in me. Like, just say even loud and walk. So I do a lot of physical activity upon this depression and anxiety. With the anger, I make them run. I tell them to scream sometime and run, who cares, right? So we do so many crazy stuff, and it's not like we have the perfect formula, but we have done like, oh man, hundreds of things, and we have so many successful stories. So we're trying to shoot a YouTube series called 100 Series. We're going to share 100 kids' successful stories right here. We are doing a lot of good things, but people are not seeing us, hearing us. Yes, people might come because they hear my story, but that's not our intention. We'd like to share this 100 series so people go out and do it. Go help kids, your neighbors. So if people start doing that, I think we're going to bring a spiritual revolution. The world's going to bring hope and change. That's my dream, is to really help people go replicate us, duplicate us, and be better than us, be stronger than us. We don't want all of the people to come to empty-hand combat. We can't. There's over 1,000 anxiety kids in Nampa. You know, most of the kids are anxiety. They say there's 10,000 kids in Nampa. So think about that. More than 5,000 kids are anxiety and depressed in Nampa. There is no way I can help 5,000 kids. So we're doing this so people will just go and replicate us and be better than us, be the hope and change, bring lights, to the world. People often just want to bring people to their church, and nothing wrong with that, but that's like, I told it level one. It's funny, we always say like a baby, like goo goo gaga, right? So that's like a level one Christianity, level one evangelism, bring to your church. But I would really push them to Christ. I would really push them, challenge them to seek the higher power. Everyone believe in higher power. Who believe in higher power? Hindu, Muslim, even pagans. They're looking for some higher power. They're just lost. So I always tell them, go look for the higher power, the real God, and he's going to just say like, God, if you're out there, show me, I don't know how God's going to show. Sometimes it's through you, through me, through you, the listener out there. But God's going to appear to these people, maybe even in dreams, like in Muslim countries, right? But we're so narrow-minded. We try to convert them, share Jesus right now, convert them. I'm like, I just give out Dutch Bro card or Starbucks card. And I just say hi to people and like, God bless you, man. And then I ask if I can pray for them, can pray for their friends, family. And I ask them that, do you want God in your life? So many ways. So giving Dutch Bro is Goo Goo Gaga evangelism. But I have true conversation. I pray for mom. People get healed physically, even at Walmart, other places. And, I'm living a daily life, and I'm not necessarily ninja. I'm not necessarily the spiritual man and la, la, la. But I'm living this daily life because I'm very intentional about this and I want to do it. So I'm teaching this to the kids. And now I would love to teach this to even my friends to just carry some. People always say they're broke, but they're able to give tithes, right? And this is sore subject for church pastors. But if you're able to give $200 tithes, maybe give 150 and carry $50 worth of Dutch Bro cards. So you can give $5 Dutch Bro to someone, strike up a conversation and pray for them, right? So every month I don't have lots of money, but I always carry $200 cash in my wallet. Now the whole world's gonna hear this and they're gonna ask me like, hey, give me $20. But I'm always carrying this for a homeless guy or someone or a mom. I just randomly give $20 sometime at Walmart to a mom, like, hey, we want to bless someone. It's not much. I'm so embarrassed to give you this, but can I bless you, or can you go bless someone with it? And they're like, hey, yeah, I can bless someone, or thank you so much. I was broke, right? So I and Elon Musk or all these people that bought you a car, or your whole household, buy you a house. But I bless people with $5, $10, $20, and or just kind words. And I'm always thinking about, I'm gonna bless. Okay, let's go back to basic. I wake up and all I do every day is like, Lord, please send me to someone I can bless today. One person. That's all I pray for. And the funniest part is I end up blessing 3 to 5 people. So I do all these things, and don't be afraid. Like, oh my gosh, we don't have time. We work 8 hours, 10 hours. We can't be Cosmo. We can't go to Walmart, bless someone. Bless at your work. Bless at gas station, like give somebody $20 at gas station, But just pray that you can bless someone, be it your wife, your son, your daughter. I don't care, right? Lord, can I bless someone? So if I can't find anybody a day, I just buy coffee to my workers. I have like 10 workers, right? So I'll just pick a random worker. I'm like, hey, can I buy you lunch? Like, oh, thank you so much, Master Cosmo, right? Who does not want a free lunch? And then I get to talk about their life. Hey, how are you, man? How's your walk with the Lord? Right? And this is a serious conversation because I just bought them lunch. They're telling me the truth. They're like, oh, I'm like slicking behind, man. Pray for me. I'm like, oh, heck yeah, let me pray right now. So the days goes on. So that sounds really cheap, but it's a good practice. So if you start practicing that, you're going to have that life every day. And it's not so hard. People are like, you're an evangelist. That's your calling. No, I'm not an evangelist. That's not my calling. So somebody asked me if I want to join the sports ministry, I was like, no, I don't want to join sports ministry. It's like, I don't want to talk to people. But then I remember what I told God on the bed, on the dead bed in the hospital. I told God, I'll do anything. Do you think I like to talk to people? No, I used to not like people. I wouldn't say I hate people, but I don't want to be around people. I just want to train Kung Fu, be on my own, and just walk in some kind of park or a wood because I'm from the jungle. But I developed this, and now I can't stop talking. As you can tell, I'm talking a lot already today, but I can't stop talking now. And I developed this. I was not born evangelist. I was not like some kids I can tell in our dojo, they're going to be evangelists. They're very bold, they're very talkative and other things, and on fire, very charismatic on something. So I was none of those. But I developed the way I am because of God and because of the way I feel that God kept me alive for a reason. So what is your reason? Why are you alive today, right?
Yeah, so you do a lot. I know one of the angles that you take on with your dojo is reaching out to gang members,
Yeah.
and and I know you have a lot of stories, a lot of kids who've come through there. But what's one story that sticks in your mind as it relates to maybe somebody who's been involved in gangs,
Yeah.
who's come into the dojo? You want to touch on some of those stories?
Yes, we have quite a few stories, but the first one actually with the gang member was there was five of them, I think, four or five of them, and they were walking right through our dojo. We used to be in the warehouse, this ugly warehouse in the back of the roads, and it was really cool actually. It looked like a place MMA, UFC type, gang type dojo. Our first dojo was the warehouse. And so these kids were walking by and they looked like they were carrying machete and whatnots, and it was summer then they were wearing hoodies. It was weird, right? But I stopped them like, hey, kiddos, like, you look like you're fighters, but I can teach you how to fight for real, like real fights in the ring. They're like, yeah, whatever. I said, no, serious. Come in and look. So they're like, no way. I said, no, I'm serious. We have a boxing ring. So that's what caught them, boxing ring. So they stopped. They were not stopping. They keep walking as I was talking to them. So I caught them with boxing ring and they kind of pick in the warehouse thing and I caught them to train. And this kid was kind of a hitman, not killing people necessarily, but he used to beat up people for a living. He'll like beat people for $20 or a can of beer or whatever, right? $5, And so he was already good at fighting. I caught him in there and he started training and talk about cleaning toilets. He couldn't pay, so he cleaned the dojo, pay clean toilets and stuff. And we went to Boise to fight, and he knocked out this guy in 11 months. I heard the other guy has trained over 5 or 10 years or something like that, and but he knocked the guy out, and I was like, oh, he has potential. So we start training, changed life. He gave his life to the Lord. He's a supervisor now. He doesn't like to be talked at the Facebook and stuff, so we don't post his story quite a bit. But here's the best part of the story. He brought over 200 kids in the last 15 years. He brought so many kids, gang kids, trouble kids. We had a kid that was out on a hit because he didn't pay the money. He owed money to the group. I wouldn't tell which group. And so we actually called the leaders for these kids and said like, hey, this is one of my kids. Is there a way he can make a payment? So they actually pardoned him, They said, no, it's fine if he's going to stick with you. But if he mess around again, he's going to be in trouble. So this kid thought he was going to be dead before sunset, right? They had a name out there for him. So he came to us and, I wouldn't say we saved his life, but we gave him a new directions. We have so many stories. The last few years, we kind of took a break from aggressively going out because our old dojo was really small. But now somebody blessed us with this dojo, so we're waiting for summer, which is next month, couple months. So we're gonna hit the street at summer. We're gonna bring all these kids that are hanging out at summer, and we're gonna pack this place. We do have a paying dojo. The dojo split in half. We have all these paying kids that pay our bills and other things, but we have half of our dojo is a mentoring. So if anybody out there you see address youth, foster kids, grandma raising kids, they're 10 and older, we'll take all of them up to even 200 for free. We'll teach them all for free, no string attached. We don't have government grant money that we get to help these kids, but sometimes our friends helps. my wife, and we pour into it. We're willing to train the whole city NAMPA for free if they're 10 and older, single parents, address, juvenile, youth pastor, probation recommend that, no question asked, we're going to help them, so please let people knows about us.
Yeah. So with this, the gentleman that you're talking about who was part of this gang,
Yeah,
you see what he's done. He's gone into competitions. He's won
yeah,
competitions. You've seen his whole life
yes,
shift and change
yes.
before your eyes. So when you see this, and by the way, he's actually contributing back to the dojo now too, right?
Yeah, he's volunteering for free. We give him a little donation here and there, but he doesn't even care. He just want to come and help. This is a really odd story, right? He's giving back so much to the dojo for free, and we're in Idaho, so I can tell this story. So the last birthday I have, he actually gave me a semi-auto shotgun. I think it's worth like $1,000. This kid is from the street, right? And like I'm like a father figure, and he gave me a shotgun. One of the Father's Day, actually, he gave me like $1,000 cash or something like that, and he always bring me $100 on Father's Day, and I said, no, don't worry about it. Like just say a prayer for me. Just say like
Mm.
a sentence. God, thank you for Cosmo, bless him, amen. That's it. But these kids, like, I didn't do it for even a cup of Starbucks. I just want to help this kid, right? And now he's every month, he bring me food on his payday and things, and he'll give me $100 and things, and it's pretty crazy how your care and things will turn into. You might not see like I see, but I'm telling you, keep trying, because whoever you help, that kid's out there pouring back somewhere because they see you pour back to him and her or her. They're gonna do the same thing and beyond. That's what I really believe.
So what kind of feeling does that give you though? You see him whose life
Yeah.
has changed as somebody who reaches out to gang members and to youth, and you see this transformation happening before your eyes. What kind of feeling do you get? Does that make you feel?
Oh yeah, of course. I feel really good about it, but more than feeling myself good, we talk about the purpose, right? So I all these kids, they think I'm like their hero. I'm like their papa, spiritual dad, or whatever you call it, right? So uncle figure, however your culture can say coach or whatever, mentor, right? So some of these kids feel like I'm like their papa, dad, spiritual dad. They don't have father, so it's like that. And so, the coolest thing is these kids actually give me purpose. They're like my life. Like if I don't help these kids, I have lots of injuries. And God holds our life and destiny, of course. Like I'm alive because of God, but I don't foresee myself living a long life if I don't do this type of work. I have to be doing something in life because I have a lot of side effect injuries from fights and things and torture, torment things, and so my body is pretty beat up. I mean, look at I'm 54 and pretty beat up, but these kids really give me purpose in life, and I might live a long life. I don't know. I just foresee myself living a long life, not because I want to live a long life, but if I keep going on with God's word, I might live really long. I'm on a borrowed time from God, definitely, and all of us are in a way, right? But I'm really on a borrowed time from God. But these kids give me more than just joy and feel good in my heart. But these kids actually really give me purpose. Like they're actually kind of like my hero in a way.
Mhm. We live in an era now where so much of social media plays into how, men, boys and girls growing up these days and what it does to them. Do you have let's talk to the girl aspect, to the young girls that are coming up out there, because it's a struggle today. It's a struggle. Do
That's
you have any stories that you could share with some of them? Maybe
yeah.
there's a young girl out there now that's watching, or she's going through so much in her life
Yeah.
right now. Tell us about a story maybe that sticks in your mind.
Yeah, we have a 12 years old girl come right now. We have so many stories. We have actually the last 5, 6 years, we have actually probably more girl stories than the boys. I don't know why it shifted. The first 10 years was almost all boys. And then the last 5 years, we have a lot of girls come and change life. So we have a 12 years old right now who the dad was a pretty bad story. So they were kind of even running or hiding from the dad and single mom, and they were homeless at a point, lived with some of our dojo parents. So these dojo parents like, hey, we have weird situation. There's two girls, one's little, one's 12. They're going through a really hard time, but they can't afford fees. Would you train them? I say, yeah, bring them in today. I'll train right now. So we start training, and for some reason, the dojo started really impacting her. So she started volunteering, helping. She's our leader now. We're talking about 6 months, in time of 6 months periods, actually 5 months or something like that. So she became our leader. She is homeschooled, so she lives basically here, and we have another boys that come and kind of lives here most of the hours. So our dojo open at noon or 1 or 2, and so whenever we open, they just come in and help clean the place and train. So we have a few boys that does that. We have our apprentice kind of live here now from 9 a.m. He just turned 18. So we have a lot of kids that just hang out here. But this girl transformed her life so dramatically. She said that she went to church her whole life, and good Christian church and Christian mom. But for some reason, she said she was very angry because of the dad and other situation, and questioned God's a little bit and stuff. And the dojo really impact her. She gave her life to the Lord through here. She commit. So we're actually baptizing her this Saturday. We're gonna baptize her. Oh no, next Saturday. Tomorrow is we're gonna baptize tomorrow, but then her mom works. So we're gonna baptize next Saturday, her and a few boys. So we baptize usually inside the ring in winter with the tarp inside their boxing ring. We baptize them in the ring and the horse trough. But it's warmer, so our first outside baptism this year is gonna be next weekend. And we don't baptize like if they're going to church, and we just tell them, just go baptize at your church. We're not for baptism and numbers, how many we baptize, we start baptizing because our first baptized kid was the mom was a pagan priestess. Serious true story. And so he said, I got saved and I want to get baptized. So I was like, hey, yeah, I'll baptize you. I'm ordained. And so I was ordained in India, but I got ordained here in America 15 years ago. He was our first. That's how the baptism started here. It's not like we're competing with church. Like, it's not like we want the number. We don't put on Facebook. We baptized 10 this year, 17, and nothing this or that. Maybe we still put it out there. Start encouraging. If we have a good intention, why not, right? If we're not breaking. But we do so many good things, but we don't even post on Facebook. So that's something we need to pray in our heart. Are we doing it for the Lord or for ourselves? But if we're doing for the Lord, why not? Let's start putting out all the good thing we do,
You talked about the gangs and you talked about the tough guys and stuff like that. And there's also, tough women who go around think that I'm a
Oh,
tough guy, I'm a tough woman, right?
yeah.
So you're a 6th degree black belt. And with all of that training that you've gone through, what is maybe the biggest lie that I think people believe about what it means actually to be a tough guy?
There's quite a few different definitions on that, but one of the things I want to say that resonate with our culture is, laziness. You know, Everyone is tough, but they don't want to shop for their kids, right? Everyone's a MMA, right? Mix UFC, MMA, sniper, Marine Corps, list, and CrossFit, but they don't want to shop. We have a kids here right now, like people have so much excuse just to get him even to go driving. Everybody wants to be a mentor. We have like 50 men that wants to help us right now, but we can't even get one person to get driving with him. So I've been taking him driving. I'm gonna take him driving again today and tomorrow, and I just want his driving done. So the biggest challenge is just get off the couch, do something. Let's do something. That's in my t-shirt too. Let's do something. Talk is cheap. That's the biggest lie is like we're a warrior, we're this, we're that till we need to. We're like best friend, right? Let's say your friend Kevin, our best friend, and I call, and if you don't answer, what good is that? What kind of best friends that, like can't call back in the same day, let alone same hour. people call me, text me, I call back, right? And I try my best. And I think it's something in all of us. I worked through over the years how to overcome this, not the laziness, but calling back and stuff like that. That's the number one lie. Number two is I think that, we're a fighter and we're a really tough guy till there's situation of dead arise and everyone run, right? So no one's willing to take the bullets. Let's be honest. Like there's a shooting, everyone's gonna run. So I would say really think about life and death, and we're pretty much dead without Jesus. So take a bullet for all these kids. I will physically take a bullet for all these kids, right? So that's the number two that we all say we will, but we need to think really in our head, in our heart, are we really willing to take a bullet for the guy who's going to come in and shoot at the church, right? Are we willing to take a bullet they come and shoot at Walmart, right? So it's something we need to walk with. The cops sign up for that. Sometimes Marine Corps does that. Not all Marine Corps, but some, right? But as a Christian man, we could be MMA champion and all this. We're never there for kids. We're never there for that single mom, right? So we always ask our neighbor next door they need anything. We know them for like 10 years almost, I think. We saw all their kids grow. We always offer them summer camp free. We always offer them whatever we can, and they really appreciate it, right? And they didn't know God in the beginning. They start going to church and the thing, and we don't push them. We don't invite them to our church all the time. We're just there for them, And guess what? I baptized one of their daughter at our dojo, So it's we are not very aggressive necessarily, but we always tell them we're there and we let God do the work. It's always not the aggressiveness that changes people's life. It's the hope, it's the light in you, it's the Jesus in you that's going to change people's life. We can be all aggressive as we want. We don't have Jesus. They're like, oh, people are not getting saved, I'm like, and then the other thing is you really have to be available. People always ask me, like, how do you get so many people saved? Like, I'm like, well, I share to about, let's see, 50 or 70 or sometimes 100 people a month. And I get 5 people saved. That's really bad. That's 5%, and like, how many did you share? They're like 0. Like, oh, no wonder you have 0 saved, right? And so we have to always share, and then we see the result. And it's also sometimes you out there, you share the gospel and they might not get saved, but I'm the harvest, right? So I'm the evangelist and they get saved through me. So it's nothing about me, you, like not how much you get saved, how do you do this, like nothing to do with me. But you do have to be available, the mouthpiece, like the Bible said, right? And then you do have to share and you do have to believe that God is in the move,
So the name of the dojo is Empty Hand Combat. So where does the name Empty Hand, where does that come from? What's the meaning behind it?
So it's funny, actually, the karate literally means empty hand. So like empty hand combat, we were praying about it and we want to come with empty hand, right? We don't want to empty hand first or whatever, right? So we also talk about coming with the empty hand, not full hand. So empty cups, not full cups. So if people are not willing to learn, right, they come with the full cup knowledge. I do Taekwondo black belt and, karate black belt and MMA, then maybe we're not for you, right? Go do something else. But people come with hungry, then we can help, we can encourage. So empty hand is significant in so many ways. One was like just, we're just talking about like just empty hand, like self-defense, kind of a non-violence type approach instead of, and then we want to put the combat because we believe that we're in a combat in this world, spiritually speaking. We're always in a combat nonstop. I talk to my kids like, hey, not the little one, but 10 years and older. We have a leadership team. In the meeting, I was like, hey, the devil tell you you're a loser. What did you say? They're like, I will say I'm not a loser because I know Jesus. I said, well, that's great. But what's the Bible verse you'll use to tell this devil I'm not a loser? And they're like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh, great. And so if the devil tell you you're depressed, anxiety, and you're gonna go kill yourself, how can he tell you like, oh, I'm not gonna kill myself because I know Jesus? And I said, what's the Bible verse? And they claim the Bible verse. So I'm teaching this kid how to combat the devil with the Bible verse, And they start all reading Bible verse because I'm always quoting the Bible, I'm not like, read the Bible, then you get this prize. And we used to do that, like I said in the beginning of this podcast. That's a Google Gaga, right? Baby level. But I want to teach these kids to be warrior. Combat yourself when you're depressed on the couch. Like say the Bible word, get off the couch and walk, right? Go get a shower, cold shower, hot shower, go sweat, go mow the lawn and pray. So I got some kids that are unluckily have some lust issue. And so I tell them like, go just mow the lawn, go run barefoot. And like one of these kids like, what if I get goat head? I'm like, oh, I hope you get goat head. So when you bleed out, you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. I'm very lustful. I'm going to change my life. I'm never going to be an idiot because the Godhead hurt. So he's like, oh, you're so rude. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, maybe they'll help you. So the story really happened and he's like on fire for the Lord. There's kids have access as young as 10 to all kind of stuff now. So we're praying and we don't make a big issue, but we're always teaching them how to respect women, the gang kids come in here, trouble kid, address you. One of the thing is cleaning, of course, toilet and stuff like that. It's very humbling. Number two, we teach is how to respect women, open the door, see them. If they're younger, it's your younger sister, it's like mom, dad, auntie, and stuff and family. And so it helped them overcome a lots of things.
So your life story now has been captured. It's in a book. It's called Empty Hand Revolution: The Unfinished Life of Cosmo Zimik. And it was written by David Mark Brown, for those who want to look at that book. We'll have a link for it also in the description. But as you look at this, what part of your own story are you still working on today?
Yeah, for real, it's about humility. It's a big part of martial arts, ego's pride. You learn martial arts, you start winning some fights, you just inherit this stupid pride. No matter what, you're a pastor, you're a Christian kid, you become champion, you inherit a lot of pride and ego, right? And we travel around the world. And so humility is a big thing. Work my whole life. I worked with angers for the longest time. I got healed about 10 years ago because of the war torn zone. We're at war right now back home. So I had full of hidden anger, right? That I always overcome it, but it was always there, resurfaced. But for some reason, it just vanished. But I'm working on humility, and humility to me is more than just humble and washing someone's feet, but really like, are you humble enough, to really let others soar, be higher than you, let my student be better than you, bigger than me, right? I'm the chief instructor. I'm the lead pastor of this church type things, right? I'm the servant. So I want to lead by example. I want to wash people's feet, but with real humility. So my dream in life is to produce, I used to say 100, but now 1,000 mini Cosmo who will be better than me spiritually. So my humility part is I want all these kids to be bigger and better than me. I want them to really be bigger and better than me spiritually, physically stronger, right? Mentally and financially. I want them to have more money. I want 1,000 millionaires, like serving God. I don't know how I'll do that, but that's my dream.
We've touched on a lot here. If there's someone, and we may have touched on it bits and pieces here and there, but to encapsulate it all, if there's someone, a youth out there right now who's listening or watching this interview, this podcast, who feels, that they feel like they've been left for death by life, and that could be whether that's a trauma, whether that's addiction or it's loss, what's the first step they need to take to find their own path?
I would say show up. That's the show up for help. If you're in Boise, Meridian Eagle, and different part of American City, just show up, ask for help, find someone that resonate with you, and keep trying. The key is trying, available, show up. We are, America has so much help. There's so many Cosmo out there. I'm not the only one. In the jungle, in some village, I'm just the only one, right? So they hope I come back and live there type things. But even here in Nampa, there's some other youth thing, right? There's youth in marching, the teen challenge in Boise, and there's a lot of help. So I would say like show up, don't give up, keep fighting because, we have hope till the last breath, the last year we breathe, we have hopes and we're there for you. And there are many out there that are like me. There are many out there that are better than me. We're a very unique organization. We don't say we're the best. A lot of people like to be like, we're bigger, better, but no, we are just a vessel for the Lord. We want you to be bigger and better than us. We want you to go serve the Lord. We want to be the light, bring revival, bring revolution. So that's my 1 cent, advice today.
Couple more questions before we wrap up here. Is there anything else that you want the audience to know about you, about, empty hand combat, or anything else that we haven't discussed?
Sure. So we are actually here in Nampa, but we hope that we can expand to your city. If you want to start a mentor program through martial art, let us know. We'd love to come and help start up. We want to expand for Jesus. We also are available right now. We're taking over, like I said, 100 clients for free, single mom, at-risk youth, 10 years, a little bit challenging. No, we know that we don't have a lot of finances, so don't take advantage of us. But if someone really need it, we'll teach them, we'll help them. So please share other about us. We're also looking for a mentor. Like I said, we have maybe about 50 men that want to help. We have very less women. We're looking for moms that want to volunteer to help some of these girls. It's like a big brother, big sister program. We do background check. We pair you up with the right type of kids, and we challenge you to meet at least for a year. You don't have to be there every week, but most of the week, and then we want you to text. It's like a job. You don't show up so that you don't let the kids fail, and just try. And we'd love to hear from you. Like I said, we also need some finance, but we don't really talk about a lot of money because it just kind of comes whenever, God is amazing. But we can use any financial help too. We buy $20 wholesale boxing gloves, give out to these kids, and we talk about the grant. We never take government grant, but we got a small business grant from Small Business America, I think. So we bought quite a bit of boxing gloves and we have in store, and we just love to help. Go help someone, The last advice I'd like to give is go find a single mom next door and help for 5 years, not like a shoebox. Don't give them one jacket. Give one jacket too. But just be there day to day, week to week, month to month, just see if they need help, encourage them. Go find a widow, go find a trouble kids and be there till they're 18, start from 13 or 15 to 18, 10 to 18 for 8 years. If you do that, this country is going to be like, wow, we're going to be the leaders spiritually in the future to comes. Or we're going to bring our spiritual life back, We're not so much, we're ahead in the war, we're ahead in money and other things. We need to be back in the spiritual leaders again. We became a Christian thanks to American support, right? So the missionary came to us through American Baptists. So in the middle of nowhere, in the dark, dark jungle. So the first Christianity was brought to us through American Baptists. So we were the pioneer in the world, not so much anymore in the mission field. So we need to be back to where we were again, That's my dream in life.
So I know you kind of just briefly touched in it, but a couple things. How come the audience, if they want to support the mission, if they really want to support your mission, how can they? And how can they find out more information about the program?
Yeah, so we have the program is through the nonprofit called imnetwork.org. I am network, like International Mission Network. So I for Indigo and for marynetwork.org. And for the dojo, it's emptyhandcombat.com. But if they want to shop here, call us. We'd love to guide them. We're just happy. By the way, we're able to function without any help too, because we're just happy. We're trying to help with what we have. So let's say you give $20, we'll help more. But we give tithes to church, but I also give some of my tithes to the kids, the dojo. and the orphans. So we have some money from our income, you know. We have 10% to 20% that we're taking it out to help. And then we also give 10 to 20% in the Kung Fu side. So we also have the paying client side. We take every 10 kids sign up, we give one scholarship, like giving a tithe. So there's 24 hours a day. So every day for 2 hours, I give my life to God for 2 hours that just anyone can come and talk or whatever, or a grandma wants to help. I say, yeah, I'm available for 2 hours. So I just go help move a grandma for 2 hours. It's God's hours, you know, and the whole day is God's hours, but at least I try to kind of give that so I'm not so busy. Otherwise, I can be so busy all day, right? So please tell people about us. We'll just love to work with you. And we're just happy to be here in Nampa. We're happy to be alive. We're not very needy or demanding. We're just happy to be alive and serve, and we'll love to work with you.
So I have one final question, Cosmo. And as you know, the name of the podcast is called Eagle Freedom Presents.
Yeah.
And given everything that you've endured through your life, through the jungles and all that you've had to come to here in the States and what you're doing now, what does freedom mean to you?
Wow. Yeah. So it's crazy. You know, when I first came here, I couldn't believe it because I always have to look over the shoulder. So you come here and like no one's looking for you, and you know, you're not tormented. Our village right now is surrounded by militants, and they can't even go get the medicine. So yesterday, my nephew had to be escorted by like military or police, and he has to go all the way. By the way, from my village to the city is 1.5 hours, but he has to go around the jungle for 9 hours and to just go get some medicine, just to get some medicine for all elderly, you know? And so like, it's, wow, I think we're so blessed. We don't know what freedom is. You know, we are so blessed. We have this freedom of speech, freedom of, you know, life and Second Amendment. And man, America is like the dream world. And everyone hates America in their verbal, but why is everyone wanting to come here, right? It's like the best place. Don't let people fool you. Don't let the news fool you. We have been to Europe many times. We have been around the world, many countries. America is definitely still the best country in the world. We're kind of going downhill a little bit, but we definitely still are the best country in the world with freedom, you know?
All right. Well, wow, that was good. All right, Cosmo. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for sharing a little bit of your story, the story behind the dojo. And I just, blessings to you and your wife and what you're doing for the youth of the community and giving them an option to change their lives. You're presenting the option, but I know that option is actually coming from a higher power. So where that option is coming from, and you're the vehicle, you're the voice that's making that happen.
Amen.
All right. And for those of you out there, look, Cosmo just shared a very powerful definition of what freedom means to him. It was a great definition. And I'd like to hear yours. So in one word, what does freedom mean to you after hearing Cosmo's story? Just let us know in the comments. I'll be responding to as many as I can. And please do me a favor. Be sure to hit those like and share buttons and help us grow with the Rio movement. And remember that you too can rise, inspire, and overcome. God bless.
Bless. Amen.
To learn more about our mission and become a part of #Rio Movement, visit EagleFreedomPresents.com. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs a beacon of hope. If you know someone who has an amazing story of overcoming, send us an email to EagleFreedomPresents@gmail.com. And remember our mantra, rise, inspire, overcome. Podcast distribution for Eagle Freedom Presents provided by Podetize. Visit podetize.com for all your podcast needs.